If you own a small business, you've met all five of these. And if you haven't, just wait because nobody warns you about this part when you start a business. They tell you about marketing, they tell you about branding, they tell you about scaling. They do not tell you about the slow emotional erosion that happens when the wrong employee types stack up quietly in your company. This is not about hating employees. I employ people, I feed families, I take that seriously. But if you are an owner, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Small businesses do not usually die from one dramatic explosion. They die from patterns. Let's talk about the five employee types that quietly wreck small businesses. Number five, the that's not my job type. I get it. We're not family. This is not charity. You have boundaries. Good. You should. But if your default setting is that's not my job, you are dangerous inside a small company. And I had this happen recently, and it is my new pet peeve. I had an employee come to me after their paid lunch to let me know they were going home because there was nothing else for them to do that day. My response was that they could help with embroidery or screen printing. Their response then became, well, do I get paid more for that? Because that's not my job. And it took everything in me not to lose my shit right then and there. And as I explained to this employee, I had just heard them complaining that morning about how they didn't have very much money and they were complaining about their finances. So I thought that this would be a better idea than just letting them go home and clock out. That person ended up going home, and I will never forget that for the rest of my days. And I no longer feel sorry for them when they're complaining about money. These are the same type of people that clock out at 5:01 while the place is on fire because technically their shift ended. Technically, they're right. Operationally, they are killing momentum. Here's what owners feel that we do not say out loud. Every time someone says that's not my job, we feel alone. And loneliness is at the top. Number four, the energy vampire, right? We all had this one too. They hit the numbers, they do the job. On paper, they are fine, but every shift comes with complaints. The schedule, the customer, hell, the temperature, and then the pay, the parking lot. There is always a low hum of negativity. Every win gets a yeah, but. You land a big client and they say, yeah, but now we are going to have to be busier. You fix a problem, they say, yeah, but why did it happen in the first place? One chronic complainer can drag five motivated people down to their level real quick. That is not feedback, that is erosion. And here's the part we wrestle with, right? They produce. So you hesitate to address it because you're thinking about payroll. You were thinking about replacing them. You were thinking about the time cost. Meanwhile, culture is bleeding quietly. If you've ever had to drive home in silence because one employee sucked the air out of your entire day, you know exactly what I mean. Number three, which version is showing up today type? Some days they're a rock star. Other days they're a ghost and just a walking time bomb. When they walk in, you feel it. The whole team feels it. You read the room. You adjust your tone. You adjust your expectations. You almost brace yourself. You're trying not to poke the bear because you don't know what will happen if you do. When they come in happy and motivated, they're like the best employee ever. But when they come in a mood and unmotivated and not wanting to work, and everybody feels it, and you are actually hiring volatility. And volatility in a small business is dangerous because there's no buffer. There's no massive HR department. There's no 10-layer management structure absorbing the swings. It hits you directly. Number two, entitled without ownership. They want flexibility. They want higher pay. They want input. They want a voice at the table. Good. I actually agree with most of that. But when something breaks, suddenly it's management. When a client is upset, suddenly it's the leadership. When revenue dips, suddenly it's not their problem. You do not get ownership rewards without ownership weight. Ownership is pressure. Ownership is uncertainty. Ownership is laying awake at night thinking about payroll and taxes and rent and whether your big client is going to renew or not. If someone wants the perks but refuses the weight, that is not ambition. That is consumption. And before you think this is just an employee rant, let me flip this on you. If you are attracting a pattern of entitled without ownership people, you need to look in the mirror. Okay. Number one, that there's always something employee. There is always a reason. Car trouble, headache, family emergency, mental health day. Again, it's not one big catastrophic blow up. It is constant unpredictability. If you give them 5 sick days, they're going to take 7. You give them 20, they're going to find 30. These are the people that wreck your schedule regularly. You spend your mornings wondering if they're going to show up. And if they don't, what you're going to do, if you're going to have to step in, if you're going to have to change things, if you're going to have to move things around. Like, it drives you nuts. It is constant battle because you cannot have a decent schedule because of these people. Every last minute call off forces you to reshuffle, to cover, to explain to clients, to absorb stress that nobody sees. But here's the truth most owners are avoiding. If you consistently have multiple of these types in your company, this is no longer an employee problem. It is a leadership and hiring system problem. And this is where sales come in. You might be thinking, what does sales have to do with employee types? Everything. Because when revenue is tight, you tolerate behaviors you should not tolerate. We all do it. When your pipeline is thin, you accept volatility because you are afraid to lose capacity. When you are not doing income producing activities every single day, you start clinging to warm bodies instead of building strong teams. This is why I preach sales over vanity marketing. Followers do not fix culture. Logo redesigns do not fix unpredictability. 10 outreaches per day does. $0 sales is not about being scrappy for fun. It's about control. If you have 10 new outreaches happening every day, you are building leverage. If you are working your phone and your current client base every single week, asking for referrals, asking for reorders, asking for introductions, you are building stability. And stability gives you options. Options allow you to make hard personnel decisions without panic. Let me give you a tactical framework right now. Every single day, minimum 10 outreaches, calls, text, emails, DMs, real humans, not content, conversations. Then layer on what we call the IPAs, income producing activities. IPAs are things directly tied to revenue, not brainstorming, not tweaking your website, not watching another marketing video. IPAs are follow-ups, proposal sends, referral ask, reactivating old clients, asking your best clients who else in their building needs your help. When you stack IPAs consistently, revenue steadies. When revenue steadies, your tolerance for destructive patterns drops. Okay? Simple as that. So, marketing or sales tip of the week: audit your tolerance. Write down the 3 behaviors in your company right now that you are tolerating because you are afraid of losing production. Then ask yourself this question: if my pipeline was overflowing, would I still allow this? If the answer is no, your problem is not the employee. It is your sales discipline. Most owners do not need better culture talks. They need more sales conversions. If you are listening to this thinking, I just need better people, ask yourself how intentional your hiring process really is. Are you screening for consistency or just skills? Are you getting the referrals? Are you checking in on their last job? Are you asking questions about why their last jobs haven't worked out? Are you asking about how they handle unpredictable days? I tell people straight up that 90% of the job is showing up every day. Because if you don't screen for it, you will pay for it. This is exactly why I built the $0 sales system and the digital blueprint around it. Not because sales is sexy, because sales is stabilizing. When you are doing 10 outreaches per day minimum, when you are tracking your IPAs, when you are using your existing client base instead of chasing vanity marketing trends, you create breathing room. Breathing room lets you hire slower, fire faster, lead stronger, and stop walking on eggshells around one inconsistent personality. If you want structure around that, the blueprint walks you through it step by step. If you want me in your business with you, one-on-one coaching exists for a reason. But this is not about buying something. This is about deciding what kind of owner you are going to be. Because here's the separation moment. Real entrepreneurs take responsibility for patterns. Wantrepreneurs blame employees. Real entrepreneurs tighten sales discipline when culture feels unstable. Wantrepreneurs redesign the logo. Real entrepreneurs do the uncomfortable work of confronting inconsistencies. Wantrepreneurs vent on the internet. If you are an employee and none of this is you, you are gold. You are the one small businesses fight to keep. And if you are an owner and this hit you in the chest, good. Pressure is part of the job description. Ownership weight is real, but so is control. 10 outreaches per day. IPAs over vanity, sales over aesthetics. Build leverage, then build culture. If that sounds intense, good, because this path is not for everyone. This is why most people talk about entrepreneurship, and a small percentage actually live it. Decide which one you are.